Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting game of Chair League. Today we have Giant Killer going up against BJandCo on Braxis Holdout. We're joining the draft just a little bit late. I see both teams banned a specialist, Sagara and Sylvanas, and Giant Killer is opening with Falstad. A great choice for this map, given his mobility and his ability to fly from beacon to beacon, or even just use his barrel roll to go through those walls that make it so hard to get through the middle. So a great first pick by Giant Killer, BJandCo. See how they want to respond. AoE damage is particularly strong on this map, so opening a mage, Li Ming, solid choice, will help clear the waves. It's a great defense against the Zerg Rush, and of course Li Ming, incredibly powerful because of everything else she can do. And with their second pick, BJandCo have a lot. They're going to go with their tank. They're going to grab Johanna. Nice combo. Johanna's certainly going to be able to stay on a beacon for a long time. Going to be very hard to push her off. Let's see what Giant Killer respond with. They can probably wait a little bit on their tank. Might make sense for them to grab their support of choice at this point, and then they can ban the support that they're most worried about. They are going to grab their tank, though. They're going to take Murden. Also, with his new talent, Healing Static, gives him a lot of survivability to stay on the point. And with his Dwarf Toss, again, much like Falstad, can jump over walls and really shortcut the distance between the two beacons. And they're going to grab Auriel as a support, another great choice. She's very quickly become a very popular support. What are BJandCo going to ban here? They probably want to ban a damage that they might be worried about. Giant Killer has some range damage, so they're probably going to look for one melee frontliner like a Butcher or a Thrall. But they banned Cho. It's a very interesting ban. Obviously, banning both Cho and Gal. Cho'Gall would have been a good pick for Giant Killer, I think. Auriel and Cho'Gall work very well together, and that would have been a lot of damage, and obviously Cho'Gall standing on the beacon is very difficult to deal with. And Giant Killer responds with a Brightwing ban, which makes me think Giant Killer might be looking for a good frontline melee assassin like the Thrall or Butcher, which Brightwing would have been a great counter to. So they're going to take Brightwing away. And BJandCo, they have their choice of how they want to go. They could probably wait on a support, and they do grab Gazlo. And Gazlo's incredibly frustrating to play against on this map. He can set up his turrets on the beacon, and it's very difficult to get him off of it. You have to commit quite a few people. So much like on any map where Gazlo works well, once he sets up those turrets, he's got himself a little fort to hide in, and it's so hard to get him to come out. And Morales on the support. So let's see, do Giant Killer? Do they go with Thrall? Has Giant Killer, would fit perfectly into their comp and their team name. Would be something that they could use to dive on Morales. They might want to grab a mage. They could really be pretty greedy here because BJandCo doesn't have a ton to punish them with. They don't have a big diving team. If Giant Killer did go double mage, it'd be tough for BJandCo to really respond to that, because at most they'd have one sort of diving team member. Everyone else is sort of built on staying back and just staying alive. Giant Killer, they're going to take their time here. No rush. They go with Raynor, so that's a second range damage. I believe he outranges Gazlo's turrets, so will be handy for that. Pretty survivable with Raynor's Raiders. Not Raiders. The Stim Pack to keep himself alive, so he got some solo healing there. He's also a great choice to take away from BJandCo, as he would have been a good choice for them to take. It would have been a lot of range damage, but he's a great stim target, and now BJandCo don't have that. I have a feeling these teams might have scrimmed against each other, because these are some non-conventional picks that they might have been expecting the other players to go with. Well, let's see how Giant Killer are going to round out their composition. Again, I think I'd like to see some frontline damage, a Thrall, a Butcher, someone to get on that Morales or that Ming. But they go with more range, the most range, Chromie, but it is a mage of their own. So it's going to be very hard now for BJandCo to stay back and just try to poke them. They do have Li Ming, probably the best poker in the game, but against Chromie, Raynor, and Falstad, she's not going to be able to keep up with that much damage. Let's see what BJandCo do. Now they don't, again, they don't have anybody to really dive and try to get on Chromie, but it's going to be much tougher, I think, for them because you've got Murden with stuns, you've got Ariel with displacement strike. Later on in the game, you'll have Falstad almost certainly with gust. So there's going to be a lot of protection for Chromie, even if they do get a strong diver. But maybe they'll just try to keep the poke game going, grab Jaina, and just try to outmage Giant Killer. Braxis Holdout, of course, our newest map. It's a 2-lane map. You have to control both beacons to get control of the Zerg Swarm, and they do round out their team comp with a Nubarak. That's a nice choice. That's someone that can help them dive on the back of Chromie. Spell Shield is going to keep him alive. It's going to really reduce the amount of damage that Chromie does to him. Still, he's going to be tough if Raynor and Falstad can respond to him, and since he lost his invulnerability on his while tunneling, he's become, his win rate has definitely dropped because of it. So taking a look at these compositions, right now I'd have to give a little bit of the edge to Giant Killer because I think Falstad's mobility, and I think even with a Nubarak, they're gonna BJandCo are gonna have a tough time getting on Chromie if she can really get that damage out consistently. It's gonna be so hard for BJandCo to respond. Conversely, Giant Killer has to make sure they don't let Gazlo just set up on a turret, or rather set up on a beacon. Set his turrets up, because once he gets there, it's going to be so hard to get him off. So this game really could go both ways. I have to give a little bit of the edge to Giant Killer, but
ready for action!
Facility powering up.
We're about to begin.
All right, and here we go. On the blue side, we have Giant Killer with Bran Flakes on Falstad, Soder on Oriel, Scuzzy Muff on Chromie,
Systems online.
Alzadair on Murden, and
10
Velcro
seconds.
on Raynor. Over on the red team, we have
5, 4,
BJandCo. We have
3,
Ragnips on
1.
Nubarak,
Gates
Life with
open.
Savi on Johanna,
Time for action.
Zencius on Li Ming, Russian on Medic, and Odin X on Gazlo. This setup would be Falstad and Oreo versus 4 members of BJandCo. Falstad with a great dive there, barrel roll to get away from Li Ming's orb. And it's going to be 3 pushing bottom for Giant Killer. Let's take a look at the first talents. Nothing too surprising. We've got Third Wind, Gathering Storm, Increasing Clarity, Seasoned Marksman, and Deep Breath for Giant Killer. Over on BJandCo, we've got Reinforce, Extra TNT, Dampened Magic, of course, Feedback Loop, and Force Armor. I don't see Force Armor too often. But that block is certainly makes a lot of sense. It's going to give Li Ming a lot of survivability against this fairly heavy auto attack team. Well, you've got a lot of auto attack from Falstad and Raynor, so I can see block. I can see it working. Alright, and BJandCo doing a lot of work early on, taking the entire front wall, while Giant Killer just managed to get a small wall, and looks like that turret will probably go down pretty quick. But BJandCo's early aggression so far is giving them the small advantage. And they did manage to take out the well, which is huge on this map. It's going to make it so much harder for Giant Killer to defend that top beacon. Meanwhile, bottom, Giant Killer was not able to take out the well, so BJandCo in a decent position here to start. Gazlo does get set up on the beacon. He gets 2 turrets there. Let's see, with Li Ming to protect him as well, it's going to be so hard to get that shrine back. Same thing, Johanna on the bottom. She does get blown up by all 3 team members, but 46% of the pen already filled up for BJandCo. And it doesn't look like Gazlo's going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to take a massive rotation, I think, from Giant Killer to get him off. Oh, but he does get out of position. He gets a little too far forward and lets Oriel displacement strike him, so very well done by those 2. Unfortunately, the BJandCo was there to take back the shrine. No Zerg progress yet for Giant Killer. Yes, we have both teams going back and forth. BJandCo returns to their push top. All set, and Oriel getting very low. They're going to have to hearth very soon. Meanwhile, on bottom, Giant Killer has a pretty solid control of this. Gazlo's on his way, but it's going to take, I think, more than Gazlo and Johanna to take this back, especially with Raynor and Chromie right there. Meg comes in with the assist, and Nubarak is on his way as well. Now it's going to get dangerous. Nubarak dives in, Murden gets caught in the stun, Johanna with the condemn. He does dwarf us out of there with his life, but that's going to be a beacon for BJandCo, and Li Ming with the great rotation to pick off that low Murden. Fortunately, Giant Killer, smart rotation, smart moves from Oriel to take top to prevent BJandCo from getting any more progress done on that objective. And the fight has moved to top. Li Ming getting caught out a little bit. Murden, Falstad off with the boomerang, but she's getting solo. She's coming fine. She's basically out of mana. Raynor trying to hunt her down. She might be able to get away. She's running so hard. Here comes Medic. The assist, she does get the shield on her, and some great jukes there by Li Ming. An unfortunate misclick by Falstad to miss the boomerang. In that confusion, though, BJandCo has retaken, or they retook both shrines for just a moment, got a few more percentage points down on that objective. And again, they have a strong control of top here with those Gazlo turrets, but Giant Killer with a strong control of bottom. Experience-wise, Giant Killer has pulled slightly into the lead. Got about 3/4 of a level lead, but that Burden death is not going to help them. The resets allow Li Ming to chunk Falstad down for a hefty amount of his health. It's going to help them a little bit on the XP game, but it's not going to do anything to help them keep pushing those shrines along. Unfortunately, while Giant Killer does stay ahead on the XP, they're not making any headway on the shrines. Right now, all they've done is they've stalemated, and they haven't let BJandCo get any more. Here's a nice engage. Stuns going down on Noobrock. Chromie trying to get those Dragon Breath damage in. Verdant goes down though, getting a little too far forward, and they are going to take bottom shrine, but Raynor was top and immediately retakes the top beacon. So again, no progress being made on the camp, or on the Zerg pit. And Raynor goes right back to soaking. They're trying to keep getting a level lead. I think Giant Killer is recognizing that their team fight is not doing it here, but unfortunately for them, BJandCo has managed to retake top. They do finish out their Zerg pit, and now it's going to be a 100% Zerg swarm against a piddling like 3 Zerglings, I think is all you get if you don't get any percentage points. This is going to be a pretty big push, and all 5 members of BJandCo are going to assist in this. Sport's definitely going to go down. The question is how much more. Nubrok with a great dive stun on 3 members. Verdant getting caught again in the stun. He's down very low. Raynor getting way too far forward, and he gets blown up from Li Ming. Verdant trying to slow down their advance. Stun goes out on Li Ming, but Nubrok is right there with the burrow charge and the stun. Verdant going down so low, but he does manage to dwarf toss away. Let's see how much of this front wall BJandCo are going to be able to get. Might be the whole thing. It's still a decently strong Zerg wave behind them. The front wall is down, and now they're threatening keep. Trying on the front line. Verdant drops the Thunderclap. Ariel building up her quest there. Kind of looks like BJandCo are going to retreat. They're all low on mana. I think they realize this fight doesn't need to go any further. Chromie was bottom, soaking, trying to keep Giant Killer in this game with XP. Let's take a look at the talents again. So his 3rd win again, Thunder Burn, Piercing Bolt. Get the double stack on those double stuns from Murden. Gathering Storm, of course, the talent, and now Boomerang is going to give Falstad a lot of burst damage. Increasing Clarity, Heavy Burden, and Empathic Link. That'll be very handy to keep Ariel's healing up, as Murden being on that front line, and really the only front line hero for Giant Killer is taking a lot of damage. So hopefully that can help her get her healing up a little bit quicker to turn these fights. Seasoned Marksman, Vigorous Assault, Revolution Overdrive, and all of the Dragon talents for Chromie. Meanwhile, while Giant Killer takes both lanes, BJandCo decides they're just going to take the boss. Now they can go and defend some of the lanes while that boss is helping them push. So great decision there. They recognize everybody's busy. They can take the boss so quick, and they can't stop us, especially with Gazlo taking Robo-Goblin. This map has a lot of camps on it, and the camps are very helpful because the teams are going back and forth, between beacon to beacon, trying to push the teams off of it. You can get a lot of value from a camp that's just going to push basically uncontested. So I think Robo-Goblin might have been a good call here. Meanwhile, this push with the boss is very strong. There goes another front wall. Murden getting very low already. The crown is on Raynor, so the damage is not going to help build up any hope for Ariel. This fort is definitely going to go down. And Chromie, while getting some of that damage, it's just not going to be enough to to save this structure or to really threaten any of the members of BJandCo. They successfully grab bottom. Falstad is trying to help that camp push top. Here comes the rest of BJandCo to retake top. Bottom, meanwhile, Nubrock is caught out, but he doesn't have to throw charge away. Li Ming gets a lot of damage out there, but no kills, no resets for her. Ultimates, we've got Avatar for Muradin, Hinterland's Blast. So Falstad not going with Gus, going with the extra damage. I think the team might need it. They have been having a hard time getting through Medic's healing. Crystal Aegis, Hyperion, and Slowing Sands. Meanwhile, over for BJandCo, they took Blessed Shield, Robo Goblin, Cocoon, Stim Drone, and Disintegrate. And Oriel getting caught out. A great burrow charge by Nubrock, and that Aegis is not going to be enough to save Oriel. Falstad was Hearthing in a very dangerous place there, but he was just out of range of Disintegrate and managed to get safely home. Recognizing that they can't really engage at this point, Giant Killer, they decided to go grab the camp. They're going to put some poke damage. Li Ming coming in from the other direction. This could be dangerous for her if she gets spotted. Raynors is the only one that saw her. Muradin and Falstad engaged bottom. Muradin already solo on mana. It's going to be very tough for him to really fight here, especially without any damage behind him. A little bit of miscommunication there from Giant Killer as team wasn't sure, I think, exactly how they wanted to play that. But Falstad does retake top. He's going to have to get out of there quickly before Li Ming and Gazlo burn him down. This guy's going bottom. Great damage from Chromie. Everybody going down very quickly. Medic is doing all she can, but Nubrock has to burrow charge away. Johanna's completely out of mana. And with that, Giant Killer is able to take back the bottom shrine. And just in time, as BJandCo were at 92% completion on the Zerg pen. So they're really, Giant Killer is really going to have to make something happen here. They're going to have to get back control of the shrines. And hopefully, you know, at this point, the best they can hope for is an even, almost even Zerg wave. And as three of them dive on to the two top, they are going to have to retreat. Falstad and Ariel make it out with their lives, but they do lose the shrine. They're going to clear the waves top. Muradin and Chromie are going to do some pushing bottom. And Gazlo's going to take camps. He took Robo Goblin. That's what he wants to do. Again, those camps, yeah, either they're going to get a lot of value, or Giant Killer is going to have to get abandon some of the beacons to go deal with them, and they get value that way. So, Nubrock, looks like Nubrock got taken out in the top lane, and Giant Killer does have both shrines now. Muradin pops his avatar. He's just trying to keep control while those Zerg Swarm builds. He goes a little. He does manage to get pushed off the beacon. He walked off of it to try to threaten the back line. Now he's getting very low. Chromie with a lot of damage. There's the stim going out on Gazlo. The Aegis going out on Falstad, but it's not going to be enough to teleport in from Li Ming. It's going to finish him off. And 2 deaths to none for BJandCo. They take back the bottom beacon. And of course, they're looking to take this top one back. Muradin wants to defend it, but low on mana. Raynor's there to support them. Johanna going down very quickly. There's the Hyperion. She pops unstoppable, but it's not going to be enough. Muradin with the jump in front. Oh, with a great stun by Nubrock, but it was just not enough. They do manage to finish off Johanna. And with that, they will... Well, they might survive a little bit longer. Now the rest of BJandCo is going to take back bottom. Falstad needs to use his flight if it's available to take back bottom, and they could be getting points here. They could be getting credit towards their Zerg pool. But Falstad was clearing out that wave. He might have used flight to go take care of that. It's going to be 100 to 72%. Much better, obviously, than last time for Giant Killer. This is a legitimate wave, and BJandCo are going to have to respond to it. Now let's just see how they respond to it. They're going to commit, looks like all 5 people to the defense. And Giant Killer are going to commit all 5 to their own defense. So BJandCo or rather Giant Killer, has actually done a very good job here. They did take the top fort in all of that mess. They managed to stay even on levels, even though they're down 8 kills to 4. And although BJandCo did get a slightly stronger wave there, they really didn't get much out of it. They didn't get any of the structures, although it did obviously put some damage into it. So right now, BJandCo are essentially up a front wall, and they're going for boss. If Giant Killer spots this, what Auriel is going to do, she spots it. Are they going to be able to get them off of it? The Hyperion goes down, the boss is dead. There's a great Hinterland Blast doing a ton of damage, and Uberak goes down. Johanna pops unstoppable. Gazlo is sitting on the point. A ton of damage coming out from Chromie. Gazlo goes down. Everybody's dead. Morales is dead. Li-Ming is the only one to get out with her life, and Giant Killer does manage to steal the Archangel, and that is a huge turnaround for them. That is definitely going to take out this front wall, and maybe more if they're aggressive with it. That was a very aggressive call from BJandCo to go for boss, and unfortunately it did not work out for them. Now they've got all of Giant Killer pushing on their boss with a base. Li-Ming's going to try to weaken it as best she can. This is going to do some damage, and they're down a talent with those 4 kills, 4 unanswered kills. Giant Killer is now up a talent. Uberak getting very low, but he does Burrow Charge out of there. Gazlo's laser, everybody focusing their damage on the Archangel boss, trying to protect that keep. And BJandCo, or rather Giant Killer, are going to back off. BJandCo do manage to keep the keep. They just lose their front wall, but that tied it up in structures. And Giant Killer has no longer a talent lead, but they do have a level lead. Let's check out look at the 16 talents. So Crippling Slow for Falstad, Stoneform going to give Murden so much more survivability. Wrath of Heaven, Bullseye, great stun finally for the team, something they've been missing. And Fast Forward. It's an interesting talent for Chromie. I don't see that too often. But it was going to let her really encourage her to stay back and keep up the distance as she's been doing. Level 16 talents over for BJandCo. Before we get to that, see if Uberak can survive this. Medic and all, you have to keep him alive, but it's so much damage he goes down. Medic is so low. A great Sandblast from Chromie to finish him off, and 2 unanswered kills. And Giant Killer do manage to get bottom. Meanwhile, up top, Gazlo and Johanna safely secured. Gazlo setting up his impenetrable fortress of turrets. And there's Ravens and Goliaths pushing on that top keep. It's going to do some damage, but Li-Ming, I think, will be able to clean it up. I think. Giant Killer picking up some more camps, keeping the pressure up. All right, let's take a look at those level 16 talents. Got Blessed Hammer, Superior Schematics, Blood for Blood, Second Opinion, and Fireflies. It's a very interesting build for Li-Ming here. She's doing some teleport damage, extra reset on the orb, shields, or rather block from her magic missiles, and also extra speed on that missile. So, very interesting build. A lot of damage going out to Giant Killer, but no kills. That's the most frustrating thing when you're playing Li-Ming. Everyone is so weak, but you can't get any kills, you can't get any resets, and you can't finish them off. If just one member of Giant Killer had died there, that could have easily snowballed into 4 deaths with resets. Wow, Raynor getting very low, but his healing pack is keeping him in it, but not very much. He needs some healing from Auriel. Hopefully she notices what he's got to watch out for that stun. Gets a lot of members. The Citrus going down, but Falstad does manage to barrel roll away and stay alive. Chromie with the Dragon Breath doing a lot of damage. Li-Ming diving in here to Aegis to keep Chromie alive. Great job there by Auriel. And now Li-Ming is way out of position as Raynor and Murden condense on her. Raynor does go down, but so does Li-Ming. And Chromie is going to continue to do that damage. Stim pack going out on Gazlo. He's trying to build down that Burden. But there's Chromie. She's a little exposed. Can Gazlo get her with a laser? He does! Meanwhile, Medic's getting very low stat. Amount of the Hinterland Lance finishes her off. A lot of damage coming out from Falstad and that Boomerang. Down goes Gazlo. Johanna's Oh, Rainer, Falstad wants it. He's chasing her. Meanwhile, Anub'arak was bottom that whole time, and well, not the whole time, but did manage to secure bottom. So, although that fight did work out in Giant Killer's favor, they haven't made any progress on the Zerg pit, and BJandCo have 50% completed already. Chromie gets to take her level 20 talent here at level 19, takes Past and Future Me, giving her the ability to do twice as much Sandblast damage. And Oriel with a great displacement strike to get Muradin, Anub'arak off of the beacon, but the Cocoon goes out. Not the best use of Cocoon. I think he might regret that a little bit later if a team fight breaks out. He's doing his stuns on Muradin, but he's not going to go down. Not with Oriel with him and not with his survivability. And the stuns from Anub'arak, or the stuns on Anub'arak from Muradin, they do manage to finish him off. Meanwhile, top, Falstad went down. The seems to be a little bit of a bug going on with the hero names are being called out, but it was Falstad that died top to Johanna and Medic. And now the fight for bottom beacon continues. Hyperion going down. Falstad chasing, or Rainer chasing that Gazlo down. A little bit out of position from that Medic grenade. Great job displacing Rainer, but unfortunately team's not able to capitalize. But BJandCo does have a little bit of those Hellbats are pushing top still. And of course they control top shrine, so there's no movement on the Zerg. Li Ming chunking Rainer down, a great Aegis to keep him alive, the stun from Muradin, and a lot of damage from Chromie, and Li Ming blows up. That's a huge blow to BJandCo. The stim pack again going out on Gazlo, who's dropping the turrets, but the stuns from Muradin, the damage from Chromie and Rainer, he can't handle it, and he explodes as well. Now all 5 members of Giant Killer are alive, while only 3 members of BJandCo. And Falstad used his flight there to come bottom. I think that was a bit of a misplay. He could have flown top and started getting work on that top shrine. But Giant Killer, they decided they're going to go for boss. And I don't think BJandCo looks like they want to stop it, but I don't think they can. Giant Killer has level 20 talents. They have 5 members to 3. Very dangerous for BJandCo. The Boomerang going out, Medic getting so low, Johanna getting low, Anub'arak gets so low but doesn't die. He manages to burrow charge out. Falstad did go down in that fight. And it looks like with the Oriel in the Cocoon, a lot of damage going out. And there goes all of the members of BJandCo. That was very close. That was much closer than I thought it would be. Anub'arak using that Cocoon very effectively on Oriel. All of the members of Giant Killer were so low, but unfortunately they couldn't finish it off. Those level 20 talents, I think, were just too much. And it's so hard to fight into that. Meanwhile, BJandCo are going to try to take back one of the shrines. The boss pushing is bad enough. They don't want to let 100% Zerg wave in as well. Oriel down bottom trying to take care of this wave as best as she can. And Rainer and Chromie stopping the wave's top. Meanwhile, the boss hasn't been touched yet, so obviously that keeps going down. That was going to happen anyway. But how much damage, if any, will do to the core? They decided to let Gazlo do it by himself. He does have Robo-Goblin, so he should be okay. And teams are about even in terms of Zerg Swarm, but Giant Killer is about to get very far ahead as they control both shrines. The rest of BJandCo did have to hearth. Gazlo was getting too low, very close to dying. They do manage to kill the boss without doing any permanent core damage. Yeah, this is the new observer from Ali. Seems to have a little bit of issues. They're getting some very weird hero death calls from the game. But now both teams are level 20. Giant Killer has a 100% Zerg Swarm. BJandCo 50%. Giant Killer is committing all of their players bottom. They're not going to defend against the push. They want to see if they can end the game right here with this Zerg Swarm. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. They get about half damage on the keep. Trying to put the damage on, trying to finish it off. The blind goes out from Johanna. Muradin trying to get the stun. Great damage from Chromie to Hinterland's blast because Johanna's so low, but there's Unstoppable to keep her alive. And they do manage to get the keep. The stun goes out on Gazlo. The stun's right back on Muradin. Crystal Aegis used on a Raynor, getting very low, but manages to stay alive. And a new Brock does manage to get blown up, as does Gazlowe. Johanna's going to have to retreat. Raynor gets blown up in response, and Murden getting very low, but Oriole with a great heal there to keep her alive. And we have 4 members of Giant Killer pushing onto the core, 3 members of BJandCo up to defend it, but it does include Li Ming, so Giant Killer is going to have to be careful. Medic retreats, getting very low, and BJandCo holds them off. So as we stand, let's take a quick look at the level 20 talents for BJandCo. Indestructible, of course. Mecha Lord, even more damage. Now for Gazlowe against heroes, which is going to make him a much better stiff target than he's been. Rewind for a new Brock. Cadus Reactor, so Medic never runs out of mana. And Tower Shot Elements, again, a very interesting, unconventional choice for Li Ming. Usually you see the slow. But she goes with the extra damage. Make up for the fact that she didn't take Glass Cannon, so she just has to rotate her abilities, and she's going to get a lot more value out of them. Structure-wise, BJandCo have no more keeps. Giant Killer has just this 1 keep, no front wall, and it's down to a 5th of its health, so it's very close to going down. If a coordinated effort from BJandCo or just focusing 4 members top and letting Gazlowe go solo will be able to finish it off. And both teams find their way by boss. Johanna and Anubarak are not here yet, but Giant Killer does not realize that, so they don't engage. Now it's 5v5. All ultimates are up. This, if a fight breaks out here, it will decide the game. Both teams are posturing. They know this is it. They know this is the game decider right here. Unfortunately, the clock is more on BJandCo than it is on Giant Killer because there are camps pushing in both lanes. And Gazlowe realizes that, he backs up. And Giant Killer does engage. They get the stun on Medic. The Hinterlands blasting everyone very low. Medic goes down. Lots of damage from Comey. Johanna getting low. And Nubarak heals himself up, but he's getting so low, manages to get out with his life. So Medic, a ton of damage there by Chromie. Great job, almost killing that Johanna. Not sure if Indestructible popped on her. Let's see if we can check. Indestructible did pop. But in that confusion, while Giant Killer goes for the boss. Okay, Giant Killer went for the boss after they're getting both shrines, so they've got the Zerg wave building up to 100%. They're gonna get this boss. BJandCo tries to just take the shrines back as they engage on this boss. They want to try to steal it. Ariel, Murden, and Raynor all go down. This is gonna be a boss steal. BJandCo does manage to sneak in there and get the boss with a ton of damage from Li Ming. And some great stuns by Nubarak, I believe. Missed a little bit of that fight, sorry about that. So it's going to be, they're going to push here. Obviously they're going to take this bottom keep. And with 3 members of Giant Killer down for 30 seconds, they're going to go for core on this. They didn't bother trying to get the Zerg Swarm. They just took the bottom beacon so that the Zerg stopped growing, and now they're going to go try to win the game right here. Smart play by them not to waste any time getting the top beacon. This is your opportunity to win the game. You have to take it. Nubarak is staying back to defend the base, which is down to 60%. But I don't think they're going to be able to stop this. I think BJandCo is going to take this game. The core is going down so quickly. Comey doing everything he can. Murden trying to slow them down. The Hinterlands blast is after the bell. GG. A great game from both teams, but with that boss steal and those 3 unanswered kills, it was BJandCo that managed to take that game. That was an excellent game, very exciting from both teams. Take a quick look, see at the stats. We saw Li Ming definitely putting out a ton of damage. And Gazlo, with 84,000 hero damage. It's not the usual role we see Gazlo take, but he set up those turrets well. And the stim packs from Morales, and especially once he got the level 20 upgrade, really allowed him to get a lot of work in there. I mean, his damage was higher than Falstad's and just a little bit behind Raynor and Chromie. And Chromie was doing a great job. We saw she was getting a ton of great Dragon Breaths and Sandblast to really chunk down BJandCo. But Gazlo taking the role of an assassin this game. So excellently played there by Odin X. I've never seen a Gazlo played as an assassin really that effectively. It's very unconventional, but it paid off, and it gave BJandCo the win. So an very exciting game from both teams. I'm glad I had the opportunity to cast it for you. And that'll be it for tonight. If you like what I'm doing, please follow me on Twitch or Chair League. You can always send me a message on Chair League as well. And I will see you all next time.